Okay, class, for today's lesson, your learning objective is to learn to graph a linear function with a given domain or range. So let's go ahead and get started with a couple examples. Let's say that you are asked to graph the following function, f of x is equal to x plus 2, where your domain is equal to -3 to 2. Okay, so the idea here is you're going to take these domain values and you're going to plug them into this function to solve for your f of x, or in this case, y. Okay, so let me go ahead and draw that out. So we're going to start with the -3, and we're going to get f of -3 is equal to -3 plus 2. Okay, so just to give you an idea where this -3 comes from or where it goes, I'm going to draw some arrows so that you can follow. Okay, and then -3 plus 2 gives us -1. Okay, so the first point we're going to use will be -3, comma, -1. Okay, so this -3 goes down here, and this -1 goes over here. Okay, and then we're just going to label this point number 1, and there we have it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing again, except we're going to use 2 from our domain. And so our equation is going to be f of 2 is equal to 2 plus 2. Okay, so this 2 goes into these two places, and solving for 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. And therefore, our second point is going to be 2, comma, 4. Okay, this 2 flows down to there, and this 4 flows down to there. And now we're going to label this as point number 2. Okay, so now that we have both of these points, point number 1 and point number 2, we can go ahead and graph them. Okay, so our first point is -3, -1. So that will go right here. And it's going to be a closed circle because this -3 is preceded by a bracket. Okay, and then the next point will be 2, comma, 4, and that is going to go right here as an open circle, and that is because it is followed by a parentheses. Now that we have those 2 points, we can draw a straight line. And there we have it. That is the graph of the function f of x is equal to x plus 2, where the domain is equal to -3 to 2. Okay, so let's take a look at another example where instead of we are given a domain, now we're going to be given a range. Okay, so let's suppose that we're told to graph the following function, f of x is equal to 1/2 x minus 1, where the range is equal to -3 to 3. Okay, so now that we're given the range, we are going to substitute this -3 for f of x. So it'll look like this. -3 is equal to 1/2 x minus 1. Okay, so this -3 goes right here. Okay, so we basically rewrote this function down here, but instead of writing f of x, we're now replacing that with -3. Once we have this, we can solve for x. And to do that, we're going to add 1 to both sides and get -2 is equal to 1/2 x. Okay, and then to take care of this 1/2 or separate this 1/2 from the x, we're going to multiply both sides by 2, or 2 over 1. And when we do that, we get -1. Oh, I'm sorry, -4. -4 is equal to x. Okay, so now that we know x is equal to -4, our first point is going to be -4, comma, -3. Okay, so this -4 goes in there, and our -3 goes right here. And I'm going to label this point number 1. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing for this 3, and we're going to substitute that 3 for f of x. So it will look as follows. 3 is equal to 1/2 x minus 1. Okay, so this 3 comes all the way over here. So now we're going to solve for x right here, and to do that, we will add 1 to both sides first and get 4 is equal to 1/2 x. And then we would need to multiply both sides by 2. And when we do, we get 8 is equal to x. Okay, then our second point is going to be 8, comma, 3. So this 8 flows down to there, and this 3 comes down to here. Okay, so we're going to label this point number 2. So now let's go ahead and graph those 2 points. Okay, so our first point is -4, -3, and we should also recognize that this first -3 is preceded by a parentheses, so this is going to be an open circle. And while we're here, the second point is also going to be an open circle because this 3 is followed by a parentheses. Okay, so the first point is -4, -3, and that's going to go right here with an open circle. And then the second point is 8, 3, and that's going to go right here with an open circle. And now we're going to connect both points with a straight line and get the following. Okay, so that is the graph of the function f of x is equal to 1/2 x minus 1, where the range is equal to -3 to 3. Hopefully that was clear and straightforward, but if you did not understand any part of this, please go back to the beginning of the recording and listen to this again. Thank you.